Hello guys, welcome here to today's video. Today we're going to be doing something different. Today we're going to be doing a sort of debate sort of video where I'm going to be talking about whether fans should support their local team, whether football fans have to or should be encouraged to support their local team. And in today's video I'm going to be giving points for why they should and why they shouldn't. And also I'm going to give my overall opinion on whether they should or they shouldn't really. And this has sort of been something which has been around for a lot. I mean, I think if you think about the top six, there's a lot of people who support the top six who don't sort of come locally to the top six. And I'm going to be honest, I'm in that category. I support Manchester United, as you know. Well, you should know. And yeah, you know, I don't support my local team. And to be honest, I am ashamed to say that because I would love to be a local United boy who went into a United week in, week out. I'd love to be a Manchester United local fan. However, I'm not, and I have to come across with that because I can't go throughout this video and not say that I'm not a Manchester United local, and I have to tell you that I'm not a local fan. So anyway, we're going to get into this video now. I'm going to be discussing whether they should support their local team. So these are points for why they should. Now, the first point is regular attendance to games. Now, that is a key one, yeah? Because at the end of the day, if you were, say for example, me, who doesn't live in Manchester, but I went to every home and every away game, which I know I don't, but if I was, then people could say, well, at the end of the day, does it really matter where you live? You know what I mean? If you live, like, just outside Manchester, or you live miles away from Manchester, but you still go home and away every week, does it really matter? Because at the end of the day, you're still supporting your team very, very often, week in, week out. And actually, does that really matter if it's your local team or whether it's another team? If you're going every week, then does it really matter? But the point, what I'm saying is, you get to attend your team more regularly if it's your local team. Now, I think that is just a massive point. If you're a Cheltenham fan or a Newport fan or a Bristol City fan or any of that, for example, you know, you're more likely to be able to go to attend games week in, week out. For example, you could probably buy home tickets the day before the match, or even on the day. You could probably get away tickets fairly easily as well. And it's one of these things where, you know, it's not a lot. It doesn't take a lot to get tickets. The travel time's very limited, and you know, you can go week in, week out, home and away. And as I said, you know, regular attendance to games, you know, that means you can support your team live. And I think really, live football, nothing really beats it. Going to see your team live, in my opinion, is, you know, it's a great thing to do. And for that reason, you know, I think it's something we should definitely sort of encourage fans to do rather than sit at home watching it on the TV, for example. And that's something where, again, I'm a bit ashamed that at this point in my life that I haven't been to enough Manchester United games. I'm going to see them in November though, which is good. I'm going to see them at Old Trafford in November, and yeah, hopefully that will start me going to see Manchester United more regularly. Another reason why is because I think, you know, you've got to be, you know, you're more involved in the footballing community. You like I actually did a work experience for my local team, and I actually work as a sort of retail person on a match day at where I work locally at my local football club. So that just shows, you know, you're involved within the football community. And like, there's been many sort of school events where I've done sort of the football club in the community, and the football club are sort of raising sort of finance and sort of getting people involved in sport and stuff like that. So you are getting more involved with the footballing community, which is a good thing for both you and the club and the community as a whole. So that's another reason why you should support your local team. The third reason is, you know, you're going to get more opportunities to see the ground because, as I said, you know, you can work there, you can get an apprenticeship there, you know, you can go there to watch matches, you can go there to just go and visit the shop more often, you can go there to get the tickets. You know what I mean? Like, for example, for me, at this point where I live now, I'm never going to go up to Manchester, go to the ticket office, buy tickets, and then that's it. Or I'll just go up to the Manchester United Old Trafford, just visit the shop, and then just come back. I'd either buy online, you know, I'd buy online because that's just how it is, you know. Whereas if you were supporting your local team, say for example, let's name another team, Yeovil. If you were a local fan of Yeovil, then you're more likely to go to Yeovil, and you're going to go there and you're going to go and get Yeah, you're going to go get your signed shirt or a shirt from the shop, and you're going to get your sort of tickets for the next match. And as I said, you know, that's another thing. You get more opportunities to visit the ground. And it also decreases globalisation. Now, globalisation is something which is massively happening in the sport. You know, Neymar has just joined PSG from Barcelona, and no one saw that happening for like 199 million, which is absolutely ridiculous in my opinion. That's the point. Globalisation is coming down to fans supporting, you know, like fans all around the country. You know what I mean? You go to Malaysia, you won't see someone supporting Malaysia team. You'll see them supporting Barcelona, and that, because it just increases the money the club has got. And also, yeah, no, I just feel like that is massively happening in the game today. If you supported your local team, there wouldn't be as much of a factor of globalisation. There would be less transfer fees, less ticket prices, you could even say, and less wages going to the players. So again, you know, that's another factor. Now, another thing I would like to sort of throw in there as well is, are people who don't support their local team, so non-local fans, would you call them plastic fans? If you are a local fan, would you call them plastic fans? Now that, again, you know, something I'm going to touch on quickly. You know, it could almost make its own debate, really, that sort of topic. Are local fans plastic fans? In my opinion, I think it depends on the person, depends on the situation, depends on their interest, depends how much they care, in my opinion. I mean, I know a couple of local fans, not very well, but I know people who support their local team in my local area who don't really care that much. They'll go to a home game every now and then, never go to away games, don't seem to really care too much, you know, what's going on. And that's the factor. Whereas someone like me, you know, I don't go to many home or away games, but I do show an interest. I do care about Manchester United. I think I wouldn't have this YouTube channel and I wouldn't be talking about Manchester United quite often, making videos, if I didn't have any interest or any care in the football club. That just shows it. And actually, one of the reasons why I started this channel was to sort of engage my opinion on Manchester United, because, you know, as I said, my interest and my, you know, I have such an interest and such a passion in Manchester United. I wanted to sort of get my opinions and sort of talk about Manchester United more often, freely, you know, to the camera, and upload it on YouTube, which is exactly what I'm doing. And as I said, in terms of our non-local fans, plastic fans, in my opinion, no, they're not. You know, I think if you are a local fan and you support your local team, you know, I've got to say, hats off to you, you know, that's great. But I think calling people and not supporting their local team plastic fans, in my opinion, is absolutely silly, really, because at the end of the day, I've got to throw this example in. You know, Manchester United, they have a YouTube channel, Full Time Devils, as you that Manchester United fan channel, I should say, Full Time Devils. The person who sort of hosts that, his name's Adam McCullough. You know, he seems like a great guy, but he goes to pretty much every home and pretty much every away game in the year. He just misses the year, except one or two games, you know, and apart from that, he goes to every home and away game. That's where my point's coming from. But this is my point. He's not local to Manchester. He lives in Birmingham. So the person who sort of goes to United home and away every week, does the sort of fan cams after matches, he lives in Birmingham. He's not local to Manchester United. Would you now say he's a plastic fan? Because I think he's anything but a plastic fan. You know, he goes there week in, week out. He goes to Old Trafford for home games, and he goes to away, travelling up and down the country. He'll go to abroad games as well. He's not a plastic fan. However, he's not a local fan. So I think that's a key example of that, a local fan who shouldn't be sort of put down as a plastic fan, in my opinion. And that's something I do want to cut on. But I think there are a lot of fans who don't support their local team who are considered as a plastic fan. But I'm going to just put that there. But some do, some don't, in my opinion. Anyway, now we go on to the next topic, which is no, they shouldn't. Now I'm going to now start saying why I think football fans should, because you know, it's like a sort of GCSE question. This, you know, you've got to sort of consider reasons why fans should support their local team and reasons why they shouldn't. It's a 6 marker. I'm going to give it, and then I'm going to give my conclusion at the end, pretty much. So anyway, going on to no, they shouldn't. First reason is other factors can lead you to a team. You know, I think your local team is probably the main sort of pulling factor to supporting your team, and it should be the main pulling factor to support your team. But other things can get you into a team. Who your dad supports, who your granddad supports, what if it runs in the family, if you used to support, if you used to live in the in the local area, whereas now you don't. That could be another reason why you might not support your local team when you've moved away. But also, I think you've got to sort of consider it that like maybe players can get you into it. You know, like Cristiano Ronaldo was a massive sort of I don't know. He was sort of my go-to sort of favourite player. I loved watching him for Manchester United when I was sort of 5, 6, 7, that sort of age, and it was great to see him pull on that Manchester United shirt. And you could say that he maybe attracted me to Manchester United a little bit more. I think, as I said, you know, family can raise you as a fan. Now, this is another key debate. This is throwing out all the questions. Should you go for your local team or your dad's team? Now, that's another one. What should be the main thing? If you were to sit down with a cup of coffee over the dinner time, your dad's saying, support my team, but you've also sort of got your friends and that, and you sort of know that maybe you should support your local team. Which one would you choose? Would you support your local team or would you support your dad's team? Now, that is a massive question, because I usually think that local team's a big one. But if your dad goes to the games very often and he's not willing to go to the local games that often, what's the top trump card there? Dad's team or your local team? I'm not really sure. I'm really not sure. If you stay loyal to the team, though, this is the main thing I want to say. If you stay loyal to the team, you support them through thick and thin, and you always stay with them. You always care. You always show an interest. You're never sort of a sore sort of loser. You're never someone who, when you win, you're bragging to your mates, but when you lose, you're going all quiet and like you don't want to talk about it, and you sort of become a non-fan, if that's what you like to call it. Now, that's what I'm saying. If you support your team through thick and thin, you stick by your team through the bad and the good times, then does this all really matter? You know, if you go to games regularly, you know, you go to home games very often, you go to the odd away game, again, you know, does that matter? Because in my opinion, and I'm going to give it my first little opinion here, if you stay loyal to your team through good and bad, and for like that reason, you got to sort of look at it and say, well, this fan, you know, he doesn't support his local team, and he lives in Birmingham, but he supports Manchester United. But at the end of the day, you know, he's one of the best sort of representations of what a fan should be, going home and away, week in, week out, supporting United. You know, you've got to say, and doing things for other fans by doing fan cams at the end of the game, you've got to say, you can't call him someone you can't take seriously, or someone who is a plastic fan, when he goes to every Manchester United home and away game. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter your location. It doesn't matter if you live a centimetre away from Manchester United's ground. I know that's not possible, but you know what I'm saying? A centimetre away from Manchester United's ground, or you live 200 miles away from Manchester United's ground. If you go to every home and away game, just like this guy does, then does it actually matter where you live? It's not like, you know what I mean? You see what I'm saying? Anyway, now I'm going to go on to my opinion. Now, first of all, I want to say about how I became a Manchester United fan. Well, I grew up as a United fan. You know, I became a Manchester United fan in 2006, so when I was 6 years of age. So yeah, I've been a United fan for 11 years now. Now, when I decided to become a Manchester United fan, as I said, you know, I was 6 years old. You know, I didn't think about geographical factors, or I didn't have the sort of common sense or the sort of the knowledge what I do now. And so for back then, I chose to be a Manchester United fan. I mean, my granddad was a Manchester United fan. He still is now, and but unfortunately my dad isn't. But obviously Cristiano Ronaldo, you know, he used to play for him, so I just sort of got into United, and before you knew it, I started buying the shirts, and you know, I became a certified fan, and as I said, you know, I'm going to stick by them now. You know, there's nothing going to change it. You know, I've been a United fan for 11 years. I'm going to stay a United fan to the day I die. And let's hope that will be a long, long time. And as I said, you know, at this point, you know, it's been a little bit frustrating not to go to as many games as I like, although I am going in November, as I said earlier. But, you know, when I'm older, I will go to many more games. Do I regret my decision to become a Manchester United fan now? No, I don't. You know, I don't, you know, as I said, you know, I can't say that I'm a massive die-hard Manchester United fan if I'm regretting my decision to become a United fan. I love being a Manchester United fan. You know, it's one of the things which, you know, I really enjoy. You know, You know, I'm 17, you know. I'm doing college A-levels. I've done loads of GCSEs. I'm going to school 5 days, college 5 days a week. One of the things I really look forward to is Manchester United playing. You know, that's just how I would say it. But yeah, no, I do generally really like being a Manchester United fan, you know, and being able to call my, you know, as I said earlier, I work at retail at my local club. I love having conversations with people there who also support other football teams and saying like, oh, I'm a Manchester United fan, and then getting into a conversation about Manchester United is great. However, what I would like to add in there is if I was a 17-year-old like I am today, I haven't supported a football team. I haven't supported a football team. This is a situation. I'm 17. I don't support a football team. I've not really liked football before, but now I want to get into football. I want to support a team. You know, and I'm 17 years old. You know, I've not supported anyone. I don't have any loyalties to anyone. Who do I decide to support? I think if I was in that situation where I was 17 years old, I didn't previously like football, but now I wanted to get into football, and I want to now support a football team, I think I would choose my local team, because I think at the end of the day, if you choose your local team, you know, you can go see them more regularly. You understand the geographical factor, which I was talking about earlier, which I didn't consider when I became a United fan. You now understand the geographical factor that you can go regularly. It's easy for you to travel to the ground. It's easy for you to get tickets. You can go home and away very often. Whereas, for example, for Manchester United, when I was 6 years old, I didn't understand how hard it would to get tickets, and how, you know, much it would be to go up there, and how difficult it is to travel up there. So obviously, as I said, you know, that is a factor which I didn't know at 6. Whereas at 17, you sort of have the more common sense. And as I said, if I was a 17-year-old, which I am, but I didn't support a club, which obviously I do support a football club. If I didn't support a football club and I was 17 years old and I wanted to choose a football club today, you know, as I said, if I was in a situation where I was 17 years old, I hadn't supported a football team in my life, you know, I was just wanting to get into football, I wanted to choose a football team to support, I think I'd go with my local team. But as I said, I'm not in that situation. I became a Manchester United fan when I was 6. I've been a United fan for 11 years. And obviously I'm going to stick by that. And I'm happy that I made that decision. All I'm saying is if I didn't support anyone, that's the decision I'll make. Now I'm going to sort of go on and sort of say, you know, now I think I'm going to give my overall opinion. You know, you've watched this video for a long time, 17, 18 minutes. I've not really answered the question, should football fans support their local team? In my opinion, I think fans should support their local team. Now, I know, as I said, you know, I'm going against what I do. But at the end of the day, you know, I think, you know, I've given my reasoning for why. And I think the fact that I made my decision when I was 6, you know, and how now I've got more of a sort of feeling about football and the more common sense and all that, and now I can take more factors in, you know, I think that I know, deep down I know that fans should support their local team. But back when I was 6, obviously I didn't. But obviously you can't blame me for wanting to stick by and stay a Manchester United fan for 11 years. But as I said, you know, I think fans should support their local team. I'd encourage them to. But definitely a team from their country. I think that is something I do. I do support a team from my country. And for that reason, it doesn't make it really difficult to go up there. But you know, that's the thing which I think really annoys me, which it shouldn't really, because at the end of the day I don't support my local team, but I do support a team from my country. I hate it when United go on a tour to China or to the US or to Malaysia or to all them places, and you see thousands of Manchester United fans, and it's just like, wow. You know what I mean? Like I regularly buy the Inside United magazine, and in that they always do a sort of I Love United sort of section, and it's always got a foreign country like India or Mumbai, and it's like, you know what I mean, like, why is an Indian person who doesn't live in Manchester or never lived in Manchester support a Manchester United when they can just support an Indian team? You know what I mean? And the same thing happens. You know, we played a friendly in Dublin against Sampdoria on the 2nd of August, didn't we? You know, we beat them 2-1. Yeah, that was in Dublin. How many fans at that game were from Scotland? No, not from Scotland. How many fans who went to that game between United and Sampdoria in Dublin were Irish? Quite a lot. I bet you probably 80% of them were Irish Reds. I bet you 90% of them, 80% of them were Irish Reds. That's the fact. They should support Shamrock Rovers. I don't know many Irish teams, but in my opinion, if you're from Ireland, you should support a team from Ireland, not Manchester United. But the same, I suppose you could say that a bit of Ireland is in the UK, so I suppose it is in their country. I suppose you might be able to say that. But for me, I think, you know, Chinese people should support, you know, the Chinese teams like I can't think of any on the top of my head, but they should support Chinese teams, not Manchester United. That's the way I should see it. I think you should support your local team, but if you fail to do that, you should definitely support a team from your country. That's the way I see it. And although I don't, you know, as I said, you know, I think my overall opinion is if you stick by Manchester United, and you support them through the good and through the bad, and you know you're always sort of interested, you always care, you're passionate about them, you always want to watch them, you go to games regularly, then for me, I don't think it matters where you live. It doesn't matter where you used to live or where you live now or what your local team is. For me, that doesn't really matter, in my opinion. That shouldn't matter, in my opinion. As I said, I think, you know, fans should support their local team, and I think definitely should support a team from their country. But I think the key message I want to say is if you stick by them, you support them for a long time, then, you know, you should, and you're going to go to games regularly, then I don't think it really matters, in my opinion. And I think if you do that, then you should be considered as a proper fan. You should be considered as someone who is generally a diehard Red, and that's how I see it, in my opinion. Obviously, people have different opinions. That's my opinion. You know, I looked at a poll. It says 60% of people say that they should support a local team. 40% say they shouldn't. I think it's one of them things where, you know, the 60% probably support their local team, the 40 probably don't. As I said, you know, I've sort of come across in my views here by saying some should. So I think people should, but at the same time there should be exceptions, and that's what I'm trying to say today. That at the end of the day, if you love football, if you care, if you stick by the team you support, you support them, then at the end of the day, does it really matter? And in my opinion, I don't think it really does. As I said, although yes, I'm a little bit ashamed I haven't gone to Old Trafford enough. When I'm older, when I'm 35, I've been a United fan for 29 years, and I'm a Manchester United season ticket holder, and I go to the odd away game. You know, that's when you've got to say, well, you've got to consider myself as a proper fan. And yeah, you know, that's when I think local fans shouldn't really matter. If you've been a fan for 29 years and a season ticket holder and you go and support them regularly and you stick by them, you know, that's when it shouldn't really matter. But anyway, thank you for watching this video. If you've lasted to this point, well done, because I don't think I would have. But anyway, that's my opinion. Hope you enjoyed this sort of video. And yeah, we'll see you for many more videos, including my Premier League predictions very soon. See you later. Goodbye.